Hello everyone, my name is Harry and I'm from FreshCasino, and just before I begin to teach you how to do the theory of slow playing, I advise you to go check out our website freshcasino.net, and then you can find out how to play poker yourself there and play on the same tables I play on and make some good bank using the tricks and techniques I teach you today and on the website and so on. Anyway, so let's crack on to slow playing. Personally, I love slow playing because it's really good technique for those of you who have learnt the rules of poker and you understand how it works, but you're still not pro. Like you've not played hundreds of thousands of hands, and you're just looking for techniques how to simply improve your game. This is a really good way to do it. Okay, so let's begin. How shall I start? Okay, so you first want to know what's the average amount of bets for your tables. Like you're gonna have to play on a table for like a few rounds to get like. But before you can actually do slow playing, because you need to know like a normal sort of high bet, like what's something really high, what sort of medium, and then what's low. Those you sort of have to know roughly what those amounts are. So let's say on this table, low is I don't know, 10, mediums 25, and a high is 100. So let's say that's what this table. Then obviously players can check or fold. Okay, so let's say at the start you've been handed two aces. You have the nuts. That's called the nuts, the best possible hand. The nuts. Now, what most players would do would be bet, oh shit, I've got the nuts. So then they'd place a really high amount of the table. They might even place higher. They might bet 200 or 100 or whatever. But if they did that, then obviously he'd fold. You'd be like, oh, I've only got 200. What was the point of that? So that wouldn't be a good idea. You'd have to do something called slow playing. Slow playing would actually really increase your amount of profits. So let's say you start, you'd place quite a low bet of 10. You wouldn't check. Well, we're presuming someone's already placed the blinds and whatnot, so ignore the blinds. You wouldn't check. You'd place 10 because that's a low bet. Everyone's like, I've got an alright hand, I'll play. So they'd bet 10, and he'd bet 10, and he'd bet 10. So although the overall pot is only 40, you have still got everyone on the table playing the game. So that's pretty good. So then it comes to the flop. So let's say, what can we say these are? Let me just increase my pen size quickly. So let's say this is a 7, this is a 2, and this is an ace. So now you've got a 3 of a kind. So you've once again still got the nuts. So you're doing really, really well here. So now, because people are slightly more invested, people might have a good hand as well. So you can increase it a tiny bit more. So let's say this time you add 25. And then everyone's 25. However, let's be realistic. One person they might not be able to afford 25, so they fold at this point because then they don't have a great hand. This guy does 25. So now the total bet is 40 plus 75, which is off the top of my head 115. So whoops, 115. So now the total pot's 115. And then it comes to the turn phase. You get one more card. Let's say this card isn't actually helping you. Let's say let me increase my pen size. Let's say this is a jack. To be honest, you'd be hoping for something like a jack now, because jack's a good card for other players. So they might be like, oh yeah, I've got jack, so they'd be more willing to bet. So then now, I would personally, it depends how confident you're feeling. If that's like a king, someone else might have a good hand, I don't know, or if these are all the same suits. You have to try and do the odds, weigh up the odds. But let's say with this current thing, let's pretend these are all different suits. You'd be feeling pretty good. So maybe you'd do another 25, let's say 25. Then they'd do 25 as well, because they're not going to fold because they've got a jack, let's say, so they think that's going well. Obviously, this is all theoretical, so we don't know exactly, but I'm just trying to explain the theory. And so then, plus another 75, so that takes us to 190. The pot's now 190. Okay, so now it comes to the river phase. Let's say this is, I don't know, a 5. Okay, so this is when you do your high bet, because these players, so you bet 100. These players are now invested in the game. They've already bet 60 each. 60 chips is a fair amount for us to table, don't forget, because that's like almost half a high bet. So they've already bet 60 chips. 60. And because they bet this amount, they're investing in the game and they're hardly going to fold now because then they just lose 60 chips without trying. Although 100 is a lot to bet, obviously they think their hand's quite good because otherwise they wouldn't have played this far, they would have folded already. So they'd bet 100. There's a chance this guy might not, but let's say for this example he does. So then this adds another 300 to the pot. So a pot of 490, which is actually a very big pot for this table, considering a high bet is 100. So you've managed to get a pot of 490, and then you win that, so that goes to you. And then these guys lose out, and there you go, you've won the round, basically. And that's why slow playing really is such a good technique. Because if you remember at the start, if you bet you're 1,000 or 100 or whatever, people would have folded instantly because they would have known you have the nuts. But with this method, they don't know what you have, and you actually win much more than if you just go all in. Obviously, if you go all in, there's a chance someone else might be really cocky and match you, in which case there's a high chance there's a chance you'd win much more money. But I wouldn't gamble on that, and because the odds of that are much lower than just slow playing. Slow playing, which is a really great technique. Alright, so let's look at an example of it. Alright guys, this is an example I pre-recorded earlier. Just take in mind it's not the best example simply because the players don't play exactly how they would do in theory, and I've not got the nuts. Alright, anyway, so you can see I bet 400, which is quite a small starting bet, and as you can see, the majority of players are interested in this, so they match that bet. And then as it comes around to the second round, I want to just do a small bet, so players can keep playing. So in the end, I bet for 200. And that small bet means other players, or basically everyone who's playing matches that, because it's only a small amount. Then it comes round to me again. Now we're starting to reach the end, so I thought I may as well rise it a bit more. So I do. This does cause this one player to fold, but all the others, whose hand they think are obviously quite good, they match that. And then it comes to the final one, so this is when you want to increase your bet by quite a bit more. So I bet 1,000. Then it goes up, and then this guy does play. This is why my example is not great, because 3 of them do fold in the end. But that 1k is obviously quite a nice amount. And then I win the big pot of 9,600 chips, which is very nice indeed.